I tell you what, in our country also, that is where the transformation is really happening. Now, the previous generation is now handing over the work and the responsibilities to the newer generation.
Sure.
Like you call it millennial generation,
Absolutely.
we would call it a new generation that would be now filling the space in small and medium businesses. And here again, there's a gap. So all the intelligence is coming from the previous generation.
Right.
While the new generation is more about technology and the usage of technology.
Right.
And there goes that cultural friction within the family itself. What would work well?
Sure.
So is that where digital transformation could answer it?
I think it's a very, very good point. I've seen digital implementations across the world, and every country, every region has its own nuances. What you see in North America cannot be templatized and applied in India or in Southeast Asia. We have more similarities with, let's say, China or Singapore or Hong Kong, but we have our own identity here in India. And I think to look at it, we look to put a different lens. We just have to look at it as there has been some expertise, some credibility built through a legacy, which you have built as a business. You can't take it and throw it away. There's some knowledge and the value. The question is, how do you take that value and make it a competitive advantage? And I think that's what digital is all about. You don't throw it away. You package it, you redesign it, and you bring it with a very fresh interface to your client, because your consumers, because look at it, today what we do is everything that we do in our day-to-day life is on a screen.
Right.
And the future is going to be virtual reality. The future is going to be what I was talking to one expert the other day, and he said everything is going to be the glasses, right? You're going to use augmented reality through your glasses. So I can see some of that happening very quickly, but while all of this is happening, it's important to take those tools and take our knowledge and take our existing business model and merge it. You have to bring new exciting technologies to your consumers, and you have to transform. Your customers have to see you as a modern business, not as a old archaic business which doesn't care about the customer.
Right.
Today everything is about reviews. Even today when you choose your doctor, don't you look for reviews?
Right.
So we choose our doctor based on reviews. So why shouldn't we do that for our business?
Not even doctor, we look at our food while having reviews.
Absolutely. So my take is that if that's the way things are going, that's not going to change anytime soon. So you jump on the bandwagon, accept it, embrace it, and make it a part of your company's cultural change. And don't be bothered whether it's a small enterprise, medium enterprise, or big business. I think if you want to be a competitive business in the new age, in this 21st century, it's important to be digital. It's important to be digital first.
That's what we also experienced, especially as a part of iSoCIAL, when we were going through different cities. We did couple of sessions, seminars, and events. Many a times, the promoters of these small and medium businesses came to us. They mentioned about that cash flow is not a challenge. The challenge is profitability out of it.
Right.
Similarly, the competitive advantage we always had until China happened to us. So
China happened to the world.
China happened to the world. So it's not only to India, but it has actually happened to the world. Now, there it is more about that what and how the competitive advantage is to be made in terms of regional competition. Right. So it is not just about India anymore. It is about the global competition that is coming. So everyone is more about that, we should grab government to do something for us and twist their arm to put some kind of sanctions around.
Sure.
But then there was another group of the same, within the same SMB fraternity, that how long we could survive like that as well. So can digital transformation help there?
I believe that every country, every region, every business has an inherent strength, whether it's in your domain, whether it's in your technology, whether it's the way you serve a customer. So it's not really about a threat, it's really about building competitive advantage. So I think Indian businesses really need to look at how can you take what you're really good at and become good at it through digital, rather than worrying about a Chinese or another threat from the outside. I think it's not a threat, it's a world of cooperation. So we can surely talk about that. I know we have another segment coming up. But let's explore that in the next segment, if that's okay with you.
Oh, that is totally fine with us. Just that we got into SMB so much, so we thought let me bring all the pain points that are normally there with Indian SMB.
Absolutely.
So these are the pointers where they always talk about, and say if they have to go for, as though you have already clarified it, it is not about keeping a budget of millions of dollars.
Not at all. You
And
can start with 50,000 rupees.
So 50,000 rupees. So I think that is what all USMBs would love to hear it. So it is not about that you have to hire some big organization to make it happen. You don't have to go to a big 4 consulting firm to give you a mammoth strategy to be implemented with a lead time of 2 to 3 or 5 years. It is about as rapid as the way digital transformation itself is. It is actually real time. And to really make it happen, that's what I wanted Steve to more highlight about, that if there is to be a roadmap to put, what could be the probable steps that ideally an SMB would be needing from people like you?
I think it's very simple. I think, as I said earlier, be very clear about your business goals.
Mm-hmm.
Are we looking at improving profitability, increasing revenues, reducing costs, or increasing market share? And there's a toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
And the digital toolkit will be different. You might have a toolbox, but there's a different screwdriver. It's a different set of tools for different goals. So first, it's very important to identify the goals.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, I think is very important to get alignment, stakeholder alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to your consumers? The research
Okay.
that is required, having that conversation. Let's not base it on how we think or how we feel that given day. I wake up in the morning and I feel good, or I wake up on the wrong side of the bed and I feel bad. That's not how we drive businesses.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have research,
Mm-hmm.
have a consistent, look at the trends, and then take that as the body of knowledge to drive the whole digital transformation journey. Then I would say, look at whether digital really makes sense for your business.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't. Just because
Mhm.
everyone is running in a certain way, you don't have to. You might look at augmenting digital in your business rather than transforming it.
Okay.
Right? You might partner with a digital champion or a digital partner. So I think that's how you want to look at it, because not all businesses are supposed to be digital, right? Heavy machinery drilling companies might not directly be digital, but they might use partners who give them analytics or data, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is very important for their operations. So there might be a way that you can plug into a digital ecosystem and become a much competitive player. So there are ways to look at that. Finally, I think it's about change.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, digital is not only about tools and technologies and fancy experience design.
Mm-hmm.
It is really about cultural change from the inside, a digital mindset, right? And I think that's what we're seeing in the world today. I mean, it started with Steve Jobs
Yeah.
and the iPhone. I always use that as inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to have the right experience, make it look and feel really good for the clients, because the clients, your customers, your consumers are going to keep coming back if they have a great experience. If they have a subpar experience, they're probably not going to come back. Right?
That's true. That's true.
So you can also, and I think this is very good for small and medium businesses, because what I've seen is it can significantly change your pricing strategy. So if you are charging 1,000 rupees for something, for an item or a product or a service, you can automatically increase that to 1,500 rupees or 2,000 rupees
Right.
just by part of a superior experience play, superior digital play. And there are ways to do that. I mean, obviously we can't do all of that in today's conversation, but it's a fantastic journey to take, nothing to be shy of. And obviously you want to have the right people on your side when you're going through this journey. So it's important to engage the right digital community. And I know we're building that with iSoCIAL, so it will be a very exciting time to be part of that. And the Prime Minister of India is driving this personally with Digital India. So we are very bullish on how digital will transform the Indian economy.
Well, that is what Steve and I were discussing about, and he made a profound point, while giving a very interesting instance to me, that the way, when we do any cooking or, when we work on a recipe, it is not like you are done with the cooking and then you put spices to it.
Right.
It is a part of your main recipe itself. I guess that's what you meant.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm a big fan of food. I'm a big foodie. You know that, right? And we were having a nice dinner yesterday. Thank you, Deepak, for taking me out. And I realized that as we were eating that dish, no good dish, no good food item, for those who understand food, you cannot put the spices on top after you've cooked a dish.
Yeah.
You got to do it. It's a whole process. And digital transformation is like that. You don't take the ingredients and put them afterwards. You have to blend them in. There has to be a catalyst, and then the taste, the culinary taste, or the feeling or the experience is far superior when you have blended it. And it's painful. It's not easy. The cooking journey for if you're eating something, it goes through the heat. You have to heat it up, right? And then you blend it and mix it and shake it thoroughly. And I think that's what digital transformation is about. You're going to shake the company a bit. You're going to transform people's thinking. You're going to put a little element of heat. because it's going to be difficult. But I feel it's all part of that chemistry of change and, resulting in a finished product which is far superior.
I guess that's what we all look forward to, and especially as SMB, we have a challenge of not only about our markets but also about keeping our costs in control and yet to be competitive around. And I trust that this sprint of ours at least able to break some cliche or the misconceptions around that if digital transformation is for SMB. So it is not just a nice to have thing anymore. It is more about it should be a must-have part in your main strategy to grow. Thank you very much for being with us for sprint number 1. See you soon for sprint number 2. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepak.